Hey, welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. So today I'm going to be asking, what happened to the Blackberry? Now, for anybody who is old enough to remember Blackberry in its heyday, they were pretty much the biggest names in phones right next to Nokia. And a lot of people remember them for one main thing, and that was their keyboard. Because you got to remember, during that time, smartphones didn't exist, and a lot of people were using either a flip phone with a T9 keyboard, or they were using some of these newer advanced one with a really nice slider QWERTY keyboard. And basically BlackBerry just took it to another level, and also with their sure type technology as well. It was just a really amazing experience when you were typing on this versus something like the other ones, especially with the clamshell. It was really horrible to type on those, but with this it was amazing, and BlackBerry really took advantage of bigger screens, which really didn't exist back then. And during the time that BlackBerry was released, they actually were called Research in Motion, or RIM, and they were a Canadian company, released in 1999. So by the time I got a hold of my first BlackBerry, it was pretty much in areas that most people would be familiar with, and that is in the whole corporate business area. That's where BlackBerry really thrived. They thrived in corporate and also in governments, because not only did they have a great keyboard and bigger screens than pretty much every other phone out there, their main technology they were known for was BBM, or BlackBerry Messenger. So this was really a highly secure way to send text messages. That's why corporations and governments really love BlackBerry. And that's where BlackBerry made the majority of their money. Now, in the consumer space, a lot of people bought it for this, the keyboard. But as BlackBerry expanded and they started providing people with much larger screens, BlackBerry started to, in a lot of ways, pioneer what our smartphones would be. So specifically in the whole areas of PDAs, or personal digital assistants. My very first experience with PDAs was actually the Palm Pre. But whenever I got my first BlackBerry, it was through my company. And at that time, you would have your own personal phone, which was one of those phones, and then you would get a special BlackBerry PDA, and they didn't have color or anything, but it was pretty much an advanced pager slash phone. And I felt really high tech whenever I had my BlackBerry, because it was a corporate phone and not many people had this at the time. It was pretty advanced for what it did. And I really do miss the fact that BlackBerry was almost synonymous with having a smart device at that time. And it wasn't until Android and Apple came about that really BlackBerry just started disappearing, much like what happened to Nokia, where they were the dominant phone makers. And the problem with both Nokia and BlackBerry was that they did not adapt quick enough. And so at the height of BlackBerry, I think it was around 2013, they had more than 80 million phones out there. But then 3 short years later, like in 2016, they were down to 23 million. And then BlackBerry actually started adopting Android around 2015. So their BlackBerry OS was pretty much non-existent in the whole mass consumer space. They still had BBM for corporations and businesses, but even that started slowly eroding as more and more corporations moved over to Android, moved over to iPhone, and they had more security built into them later on. And so there really wasn't a need to get a BlackBerry for their secure messaging anymore. And that's really sad, because now for me, BlackBerry is more of a memory. Even though the company still does exist, they still have their BlackBerry Key One phone, they have BlackBerry Mobile, they also have BlackBerry India, and a lot of their manufacturing is done by a company called TCL, which I think is a Chinese company. And so BlackBerry is still around, but primarily from a licensing point of view. They license their name out to other companies in other countries. And so BlackBerry is definitely not the company that it used to be. But once again, it is a lot of fond memories. Whenever I think about phones back in the day, I always think about Nokia. They were pretty much indestructible. I think about the Motorola. This is actually a Motorola phone right here, but I really think about the Motorola Razr. I love that phone. And of course, I think about the BlackBerry. So I don't think BlackBerry is ever going to come back the way that it used to, unless they do something absolutely revolutionary. But I'm really happy that they were around to give us all these revolutionary things, both in business, corporate, and also for mass consumers. And also the whole idea of having a Crackberry, because you were so addicted to typing. I'll never forget that. And hopefully BlackBerry will still be around much, much later on, but I don't think they'll ever be able to recapture those moments. And so those are my thoughts on the BlackBerry and what happened to it in my own experience. If you had any of your own thoughts or experiences with BlackBerry, be sure to leave it in the comments area below. And as always, if you did get value out of these videos, share, like, and subscribe. Hey geeks, if you are a creative geek like me and you wanted to learn how to create content on YouTube and other places on the internet, then check out my Gold Content Creators Group, where you'll get access to 30 videos plus additional content for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part of it is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Gold Content Creators Group. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side. Thanks for checking out this episode. And as always, if you like these videos, be sure to click on the subscribe button. And for full written content, audio content, and additional geek stuff, head over to geekoutdoors.com, and I'll see you outdoors on the very next episode.